Welcome to the latest episode of Platform Podcast. Today's guest is John Vossoughi. I've been familiar with John skating for years, all the way back to the Shock video when he used to skate Valos. Before that, even when he was skating around on razors, and he has had appearances and sections in so many videos. Like I said, the Shock video, he's been in bars, he's had a section in Hit It Wet. He even had his own video called Citizens, which kind of documented the Bay Area scene. And on top of that, he's appeared in so many things all over the world, like La Rue in France. He's skated with Mark Moreno and appeared in his videos in Spain. He's popped up in numerous Them videos. And he's also been in FTS videos with Pat Ridder and Marius Gale. Also, he was recently in T83. They all went to, I think it was Japan, and he was on that trip. And he just kind of seems to get around all over the world, pop up here, there, and everywhere, have great footage, and then just kind of still be on the periphery of blading. He doesn't really seem to be too concerned with like sponsorship or trying to go pro or putting out constant sections or constant footage on social media. He just kind of seems to exist, enjoy it, be very impressive, but not that kind of determined to push it further. He seems quite happy like where he is on the outside, but he's got an impressive catalogue. If you put together all the footage he's had in various montages, sections, videos from all over the years, it would add up to hours and hours of footage. And he goes from doing incredibly weird, really creative stuff to just absolute balls out stunts. And with John, you can never really predict what he's going to do next because he seems more concerned with finding an obstacle and figuring out if it's possible to do something on it rather than just trying to do the most difficult tricks he can think of or trying to find spots to do tricks that he has in mind. He seems to let the spot talk to him more than the actual maneuver that he wants to do on it, which is very intriguing and makes everything that he does really fresh and really kind of difficult to keep track of, which I like. Apart from following his skating for years, I don't really know too much about him other than that he lives in San Francisco. I think he lived in France for a little while, or his partner was French and he was visiting there, and that's why he was appearing all over Europe for a while. But I know so little about him, so I'm really interested to just get to know him a bit, find out as much as possible, and hopefully you guys find out some interesting things too. Before we get into all that, just want to give a giant shout out to my Patreon supporters. They're listed on the screen now. You can join the Patreon for as little as £3 a month. There's a bunch of videos on there that are not on the YouTube channel. That's enough of that. Cue the music. How we doing?
Good.
I'm surprised you're not gearing up for another New York trip. It seems like a bunch of them guys are descending on the East Coast once again.
Yeah, I guess I should share in my Instagram that I'll be there.
Oh, you are going, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of last minute, but yeah, I'm going.
Nice.
Go
Um,
for a week.
just for the event, or are you guys gonna try and get some filming done while you're there?
Um, I don't even really know the plans, but I am like most of the people are leaving. Like most people are doing a pretty short trip, and then a few of us are staying just a couple extra days.
Right. Okay.
And there's
Who's
like a few different things that like John has planned, but it's all kind of getting figured out last minute.
Oh God, right. I'm not going to ask you to
Yeah,
spill any of the secrets because I don't want John to break your legs.
I don't
Um,
even know any.
what's
Keep it
who's
exclusive.
who's the crew that's staying around longer than everyone else?
Well, me, Danny Beer, and Stuart Braddery. or I think is that's probably it.
Oh, Stuart
But we're just
Bratton.
staying like 2 extra days.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And my friend Leanne lives out there now. So it's a chance to hang out with him more too.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I can never like, did he used to go by Neil? I feel
Well,
like,
yeah. Yeah. So his real name is Leanne, but
right.
when he moved to the US from Taiwan, he like wanted an American name. So he just flipped his name around to Neil. But he
No way.
started going by Leanne. Like he always liked to be called it, but like when he moved to New York, it really like everyone calls him Leanne there.
That's crazy. So he's
Yeah.
he's he's a first generation immigrant from Taiwan.
Yeah, he moved here with his dad and his sister.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah.
How like so have I feel like he's been in San Francisco for years and years though, because like he's
Yeah, quite a while.
his sections go back quite a while. So how long have you known him?
Um, I think I met him in like 2012, maybe 2013,
Right,
something
okay.
like that. So yeah, like 10 years.
So like over a decade. Did he like
Yeah.
could he speak English when he came over?
Yeah, he speaks really good English.
Oh, well, I mean, I would
I
like
would
to
say
think
he has better grammar than I do.
I would like to
But
think so
yeah,
now, but I mean, as in when like he first arrived, or did he have to like learn
yeah.
there?
I actually don't know.
Right.
I
Okay.
would say I would assume he learned earlier, but like he lived here for a while before I met him.
Okay.
Or at least like really started hanging out with him. Because he lived like an hour away and he's always really quiet. I didn't really like start hanging out with him for until he'd been here for a while.
Right. That is a crazy story. Yeah, because I remembered like his sections, he used to be called like was it like Neil Chen or something like that?
Yeah.
And then it changed and I was like, what is going on? But that makes sense because when I lived in Korea, all the Korean people gave themselves like English names. And
Yeah.
someone would be like, hey, my name's Billy. And I'd be like, it's not though. It's not. There's no
Yeah.
way your name is. And they're like, oh, it's Dongun, like da da da. Da. And I was like, yeah, that's nothing like Billy. I was like, I can remember
Yeah.
your real name. We don't have to do this. Uh,
Yeah.
so, oh, that's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, it worked out. It's funny for him because he just flipped it.
Right. I've often right. So I've followed your skating for a while, all the way back to like the shock days and stuff like that. But I've always
Yeah.
get you just kind of like randomly seemed to start having sections. So I wondered if you were like always from San Francisco, and I had just hadn't seen you in other things, or whether you moved there, and that's why
Yeah.
you. Because I feel like it was like maybe like around the time you mentioned, like the kind of 2010s or like shortly before that, when I felt like I started seeing like sections of you or footage of you appearing in videos.
Yeah. Um, well, I lived like an hour away from San Francisco till I was 14. And then I went to high school in like a small town that's like 3 hours north of here.
Right.
And then I moved back when I was 18. And that's probably about like when you may have seen like shock video was like 2010, I think. So I met all those guys when I moved here. I didn't know
Right.
them before. And
Okay.
so there's like random old sections, but I was kind of like out by myself out there. I skated with a bunch of skateboarders like in high school.
I remember this because I remember you made a trailer for a video. It was called I think it was called the shit video or something. And it was like and I was like, have I like clicked on the wrong thing? And then it starts off with like a fight scene or like someone getting beaten up, and then there's just a bunch of skateboarding footage and like maybe five rollerblading tricks in the thing.
Yeah.
What
I
was
can't even,
the
I like barely even remember that. I wonder if that's still online. I guess I only made the trailer.
also you never made a full video for it?
I don't think so. I made like a couple like small things, and another friend of mine made like a full skateboarding video, and then I have a section in it.
So
But I
so
don't
like
think people
as
have
in
seen.
you're the token rollerblader in a skateboarding video.
Yeah, I mean just like a small local video, but yeah,
Right. Okay.
They were like
Um,
all they were like my good friends in high school. And like there were some rollerbladers too that were older, but I didn't skate with them that much. But these are like all kids I went to high school with, and I would we would like yeah I would always pretty much always rollerblade, but I would like we'd go to a spot and I would do it, and then we would go skate like a force there because that's what they wanted to skate.
okay. Do you like so I've kind of always wondered about your approach to skating because I feel like you're one of these people that seeks out obstacles to like figure out or like see if you can like do something on it rather than you get some skaters that just have a trick list that they want to work through. They're like, oh, I want to get like an alley fish brain on something and they go looking for an obstacle to do it. I feel like you
Yeah,
just kind of find like whatever you can and go, I wonder if this is possible. I wonder if I can actually like do anything on this. And is that maybe got could that have something to do like with spend so much time like skateboarders? Because obviously you guys have to find like common ground or things you can both
yeah,
skate, which
yeah. I mean, I would like those are pretty formative years, high school, and like I definitely would want to do like would be more like steered toward things that they would appreciate. And that would often be like a simpler trick on something big or like creative. And like I would like try to learn more like technical stuff, but I never really like cared as much, and that's part of it because they didn't
right.
care. And like
It
some of the players I would skate with would, and that's like when I would learn more things like that. But yeah, it definitely has something to do with it. I also had
okay.
there was no spots up there, so we would skate. Like there wasn't much, so we had to get pretty creative with what there was.
Right, right. Also, I suppose if you're like if you are skating with skateboarders all the time, you've got that. It's like when you like listen to a band and then you're like, oh, you say it to your friend, you're like, oh, you need to listen to these guys, and then you finally hear it like how someone else hears it, and it starts to make you feel like self-conscious about it or something because you like start kind of listening to it differently. And I feel like if you were skating
Yeah,
with non-skaters, you're like, or you'll do certain tricks and they'll be like, that just looks like every other trick you guys do, like every other grind you guys do, or you do a certain grind and they're like, nah, that looks weird. Don't do that. Like that looks goofy or something. And you're like, right, that's no longer in my vocabulary anymore. I'm leaving that one to the side. It must be
yeah,
quite interesting getting like an outsider's feedback quite regularly, being like, yeah, that doesn't look any different to the other grinds that you do on that ledge. Maybe just yeah,
yeah. I know they definitely appreciated things that looked like what they were doing,
right, okay,
but I don't know. I just there's less motivation to get technical.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
I
would
can
do
imagine so.
something hard and new, and like no one around me cared.
You were like, that was true spin, and they're like, what? That was
Yeah,
what?
yeah. They're like, just go backwards down this one. That'd be cool.
So how did that change when you like moved to San Francisco? Like, see when you moved, were you like right in the city center or like
Pretty much. I was going to school and I actually broke my wrist, so I kind of didn't skate that much for like a couple of years. Um, but how did it change?
because like who was the crew you like first started hanging about with when you
Pretty
moved?
much like the shock video, shock guys,
Right.
like Thomas McGovern. And I had met him before, but like we became good friends when I moved here. And then like he lived with Kevin Yee and like Pat Lennon and I forget who all was there. Adam
That's
Roberts, Nick
that's quite
Whitmore,
a
a bunch of
wild
people.
setup. Tommy
Yeah.
Boy, Kevin
Tommy
Yee,
Boy,
Pat
yeah. Tommy
Lennon.
Boy didn't live there,
Right, okay.
but he was around.
That's that's kind of an intip. Those are quite big personalities as well. Like
Yeah.
that's quite
Yeah.
direct. And then Tommy's obviously Tommy is
Yeah.
like one of the most famous like people not for skating in skating.
Yeah. Big rollerblading personality.
Um, so like so what was that like when you first started kind of going around the streets with them? Because I imagine like Pat's one of those people that always seems to have approached skating for an outsider's eye as well. He's like,
Yeah,
I don't really care about doing the technical switch ups. He's like, I want to do stuff that stuns people.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I didn't really skate that. He was like not skating that much when I moved here. Ben Weiss was here though, and he was
You're literally just naming showman after showman.
yeah. Yeah. Um, I don't know. It was cool. It was like I felt like it was the kind of skating that I would want to be around, I guess. But SF's different too. I don't know. It was a weird time. I was trying to skate and it wasn't working well, I'd say.
In what way?
My wrist was broken and then I broke my other wrist. And I was
That
also going to school.
yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
I kind of hung around a bit and then kind of got bummed. And then it took a few years till I was like skating a lot or skating well.
So what got you back into it then?
I mean, I just always wanted to do it, but like the shock, I don't know, those guys were like like I would hang out with Thomas and Kevin Yee a lot, and like we would skate, and I somehow like filmed. Like I had no idea that I would have a section in the shock video. It's like we would skate, but I never felt like I was really filming anything. And then when we actually looked at all the footage, there's a lot.
And
Um,
it wasn't tame either. It's not like it doesn't look. It definitely didn't look like it was just gathered footage. It looked like you filmed that with a purpose.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. I
You're like, I don't really.
remember how it was like a long series of events to get to that point.
Okay.
Um, but I always liked to skate. I always wanted to skate. It was hard for a while.
I also feel like not every not every skater can skate San Francisco. Like I feel like it is quite. You can take someone that's really accomplished and can do really technical stuff, but San Francisco's got all this other stuff going on, especially because a lot of it's very like urban. You've got all the people traffic to deal with, which is quite chaotic at the best of times. Then a
Yeah.
lot of the spots people tend to find outside people's homes or like attached to private buildings. So that's a different kind of pressure as well because you don't have attempt after attempt. You can't take your time. It's get up there, get it done before
Yeah.
they phone the police. And then there's obviously all the steep hill spots as well. And it's like it's not enough to just land a trick. Like you need to know you need to be very, very good at basic rollerblading technique, or you're gonna get hit by a car.
Yeah. 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 It's not easy.
Like
It's hard.
there must be skaters that come there that they're just like, I can't
Yeah.
like
Well,
I
I mean,
can't
even out here, like there's a lot of skaters around the whole Bay Area, and the rest of the Bay Area isn't that much like San Francisco. And I would say most people don't really want to come into San Francisco and skate that much.
I did wonder that. I did wonder if people were
Yeah.
like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that crazy hill shit. I don't know.
Yeah. It's always like such a mission too. So I know that's off-putting for people. Because sometimes you just want to skate, and a lot of time here it's like one person goes somewhere, does a trick, and then we go somewhere else. So it's like less sessionable.
I mean, the kind of spots that well, the most interesting spots anyway that you guys have there, yeah, they're not session spots. It's not a ledge or like a mellow rail or whatever. There's probably only one trick that can be done in this spot or, you know, a couple. So it's like,
Yeah.
just get what you can.
Yeah. Yeah. It's shaped how I skate now for sure. I don't think I was that much like as much like that then. I don't know.
So when all those guys drifted away from the sport, because obviously Pat stopped, I think from what I understand, Tommy Boy was still in San Francisco, but he stopped as well. What like who did you end up hanging out with after that? Because it seems like the group must have totally changed.
Yeah. Um, let's see. There's been a few different people. I mean, Danny Malm has always been around. Like, yeah, he, I don't know, Kevin Yee, like Kevin Yee was a big one. I skated with him a lot. And then when he left, that was a bummer. And then like Thomas left too. He moved to New Orleans. Um, I don't know. Jeremy Raff moved here. That was like how Citizens happened.
I was gonna get onto that. I was gonna get
Yeah,
onto
and then
your
also like
video about them.
I met Leanne too, and we would like that made skating exciting.
Right.
Um,
So was
yeah.
there ever a point when the first group dispersed and kind of like stopped that you were like, oh, maybe I'm like, did you ever have thoughts of being like, well, that's my friendship group gone. Maybe I'll stop doing this as well. Or were you like, need to find myself another like group of friends?
Um, I don't know. There was always a lot going on. Like there's definitely some like there's been days like there was like all the New Jersey like Shredweiser guys were here for a while too.
Oh, like they
They
were all
weren't in
living in
SF, but they were in Oakland.
Oakland, yeah, like Stokely and all those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like skating, there's a period where like I'd skate with them a lot. Um, I don't know. I don't remember a period like that exactly. It always kind of like went from one thing to another.
Right.
And I think like I wasn't like now I've thought about it lately and it's like if Danny Malm and like Cameron Talbot left, I probably wouldn't skate here that much. Like currently, because like I would say I'm more into skating now than I like ever have been.
Okay.
Where it's like I don't know. At that time it was less it was like I don't know, it was like harder then. I felt like I was always hurt and it would like I wasn't trying as hard or caring as much.
So what do you think like is the result of that? Like as in, do you think that's you learning your skill set more, becoming more proficient, or do you think that's you just understanding like the limits of your like ability, or what do you put that down to? Like not getting broken off as much? Because
Yeah, definitely
you
that.
still do big tricks. Like
Yeah. Well, I have that evolved for sure. I mean, I my wrists were like that sucked. I broke both my wrists and pretty much they were both broken at the same time. That took forever to heal. I never had two casts on, but like I had one on and the other one was weak.
oh
And then I
right,
had
okay,
one
right.
on and the other one was like slowly healing. And I mean, even now, like my wrists are terrible.
It's they are one of those things that because you fall in them so much, like if you break one, then it's like you see all these skaters over the years that have got like the constant just one wrist guard on because it is such like a fragile joint. But yeah,
Yeah,
I had a friend that broke both hands in a cycling accident. Like someone cycled head onto it and they had a cast on both hands. And I was like,
yeah,
that's got to be hell on earth. Like you can't do and he was like, yeah, this is like I wouldn't wish this on
yeah,
anyone. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. It sucked. I was known
So
as a kid with like a broken arm for so long.
uh, yeah, yeah.
And I don't know. It's like after, I guess it was after the shock video, I broke both my front teeth. And that was a big one too. That really made me like have like, I need to make sure I'm not going to hurt myself if
so
I'm
that
trying.
was you did that skating.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I was doing a really stupid gap over a fence that had like it was pretty far and high to get over this fence that was like kind of sharp on top and it just barely clipped my foot and I landed on my side and then like my face slid on the ground basically and I
Wow.
like shattered my two front teeth.
I, I didn't realize it was two teeth you had missed. I thought you only had one because like you've appeared in quite a few videos with a missing tooth. So I just thought it didn't bother you that much.
Yeah, it didn't at the time. I mean, it was painful the going through the stuff. Like it was like one tooth broke completely and they took it out right away, and then I had a fake one forever. But then the other one was like half fake and it had a cap on it. I was actually at a show and someone dove straight into my face and broke that one. And I had to get that one completely taken out too. And then I just had no front teeth for like a year.
Right.
And I had a fake thing that would come in and out, but I like hated wearing it. It was really uncomfortable and I thought it looked bad. And I never like went to go get a better one made, or I just kind of rocked it for a while.
I think that's got to be something that really tests your like strength of character, or because you must have just got people either A, giving you the weirdest looks, going, what the hell happened to that guy? Or B, just constantly asking about it. Like every new
Yeah.
person you meet, like, what's going on there? That
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
must
there
have
was like
been
a bit of good and bad. I didn't mind the look at the time that much.
right.
And I also had like who I'm with, my wife now. I was with her, so maybe that also made things easier.
Okay.
I wasn't looking for someone.
So she wasn't like freaked out about it. She wasn't like, we need to get that fixed.
A little bit, but she was light with it at that time. I was pretty confident. Like at that time, I was like, I don't care.
Right.
This is fine. And then yeah, eventually my parents pushed me. Like they had a family friend who was a dentist, and she installed my permanent teeth.
Okay. Did you get like the like metal like drilled into your
Yeah,
is
there's
it,
two screws
yeah.
and then the caps.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, like even like that, when that happened, I remember it took me so long to feel comfortable jumping over things.
I mean, that's quite a mental barrier to get over. You're like, is this gonna
Yeah,
happen again? Is this like, yeah,
yeah. And I still think about it skating. But that was a big one of like of checking myself. Like, am I ready to do whatever trick I'm doing? Or is it worth it? Or is it, can I find my way out safely?
yeah, yeah. When you have stuff like that happen to you, like I snapped my arm like clean in half and like broke the end off both bones. And then for so long afterwards, whenever I was like falling off a handrail or like down a set of stairs, I just wouldn't put my arm out. I would just take it to the body. And I'm like, well, the body
Yeah,
can, I'm like, the body's
yeah,
got bigger bones. It can, I was like, I'm not risking snapping the arm again. That was horrendous. Like, yeah.
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 Yeah, even my wrist, like yeah. I feel like I stopped skating down rails a lot because of that. Because like grabbing onto a rail sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really,
Or just,
yeah,
I don't know. I just don't like. I'm trying to avoid falling in every way.
that's a good tactic. It's a good
It
tactic.
always hurts.
So I can't remember what year Citizens came out because I remember when Jeremy Raff moved to San Francisco because I interviewed him not long before that when he was living in some tiny ass place on like the border of Texas and Mexico with his like
Yeah, that's where he's from.
where he grew up.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he was
yeah,
working at like some like NGO or some charity thing or something. And then I remember when he moved out there and like he is unbelievable on skates.
yeah.
So how did like that project come about? Because it was, am I right in thinking it was only people in San that lived in San Francisco that had sections, right?
Yeah, or like close to.
Okay.
Yeah, like Brandon Tids. He's he lives in Berkeley, which is just like
I
it's
mean,
close. Yeah, it's close
it's
enough.
all
Yeah,
Bay
yeah.
Area. I don't know the geography
All
that
right.
well, but I know it's all like Bay Area.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
it was pretty much all Bay Area. Or it was, yeah. Because he moved, Jeremy, like he moved to I think Davis, which is like 2 hours from here, and then and then eventually moved closer to Berkeley and then San Francisco. And it just kind of slowly evolved. Like he was filming, and then I got involved, and then Leanne got involved, and yeah, just I don't know, it just happened. I don't Jeremy. I think I met him I met him when I was like 18. I worked at Woodward for like 3 weeks, and he said he met me there.
Like as an instructor or what?
Yeah, like I was
Right.
like an instructor, and I don't remember what the other. Or I guess yeah, I don't know. I was an instructor and watched kids, even though the
Okay.
kids were like the same age as me, just hanging out with friends. Really,
Yeah. So what he was, I didn't know that. I didn't know this about Jeremy. So what, as in he was working there as well, or he was like a camper?
I think he worked there, and then yeah, and then when he moved to the Bay Area, he had. I can't. Yeah, I can't actually remember meeting him there. I think I've
Right.
told him this because he called me one time. It was like we were skating in San Francisco, and he was like texting me like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in SF. Like, do you remember me?" And I was like, "I'm not really sure," but he came and met up and skated with us, and then I knew who he was then,
Right.
and
Okay.
like instantly.
Um,
He's a
yeah,
great guy.
yeah, he skates with power. Also very motivated because he's even still doing videos now. Like he's doing the stuff with Torres for like Bodega Boys and things like that. Actually,
Yes.
they've got a video coming out soon called
Yeah, they're gonna premiere it. They're gonna premiere it like this next week, like
Our Lovers or something, I think it's
before
called.
like the one of the nights with the them pop
Right.
up. Yeah.
I always wondered who did the artwork for Citizens,
My friend Joe, he goes by Uncle Dad.
right?
But he went to like art school with my friend Thomas, and he's just always been a good friend, and he always wanted to do something like work on something together. And yeah, so he did that. He just drew like he did it pretty quick. I hung out with him, helped him like scan stuff, but he just drew all those. They're like 8 frames.
Right. I
There's
always,
just
yeah.
people's heads morphing, and then like there's some of his other artwork in there. And yeah, that's what he does. He does a lot of stuff like that. It's really cool.
I, really,
Very talented artist.
I remember really liking that. Yeah, it kind of had that like nineties like alternative cartoon look. Like I don't know, like Dr. Katz or something like that. I had that kind of just like cartoons, but not for kids kind of aesthetic that I really liked.
Yeah, like raunchy cartoons.
Yeah, yeah,
He's amazing. He's really into like all kinds of like analog in animation, and he does like really intricate stuff where he'll like build puppets and like build a whole set, and it's really cool stuff.
So was am I right in thinking like Citizens was like the last kind of quote unquote like full length video that you made? Because I know you've filmed edits and stuff for Cameron Talbot for Rollerblade or Blank or whatever you want to call
Yeah, I
it.
made one of Cameron. I made one of Colin
Oh yeah,
Martin.
yeah, you made the Colin Martin section. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I got tired of filming skating.
Okay. You would much rather be doing it than
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
pretty much. I don't know. I could find myself there again. I like working video now, so I'm a lot more skilled than I was then, at least in post.
What does that mean? What do you mean you work in video? What's
I work as an editor.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I work for Yvonne mostly. Yvonne
Oh no
Nara.
way.
Yeah,
So like as in even on his blading projects as well.
a little bit. Yeah, like maybe if it has like a narrative, if it's more of a narrative piece, I'll work on it.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. There was like a Them Now one that he filmed earlier this year. That was just kind of like a shop update, but I helped with that. Just like getting a narrative down with everything, all the scattered
Right.
footage he
Okay.
had of John.
Right. Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you now. You also had a couple of clips in the Sizemore. What with Ivan, I can never tell unless he actually puts a date on his videos. You can never tell when they're filmed because he holds on to footage for so long. When like you and Seba Silverheld had like a couple of clips, and then the new Sizemore piece. But when was that actually filmed?
They're like pretty much a year ago.
Right.
Like exact like I think it was July last summer.
Okay.
He was here for like 10 days. And yeah, I mean we just skated a couple times. Well, I mean we were there quite a bit, like just kind of helping out, showing him around, got a few clips too.
With with
But
stuff like
Sabo
that.
was here for a while
Right.
and he filmed a lot of stuff that hopefully should be seen soon.
Well, he's always working on something. So he's like he was just visiting the US. He's not living there now.
No, he came for well, I mean he came for like probably like almost a year. And his brother Jonah was here as well.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of working and saving money because they can make a lot more money out here than they can in Mendoza. So they just kind of like hung out. I think they also maybe I think there was a hint of trying to really make things work well out here, but they seem to have done that a few times and then they just end up going back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like save up enough money and then they're like, I can just go live on this for a long time in Argentina.
Yeah. I mean, that's yeah, it's fair enough. I can't even I remember Brian Beano lived out there for a while and yeah, yeah, no idea. Um so then there was you obviously had like bars and Had It Wet and stuff like that after that. You've had like quite a lot of sections. Which one of those are you like? Because obviously you said well at the shock video, you were like, oh yeah, I didn't even think that was going to be. I didn't even know like we had enough stuff for a part or whatever. But you have filmed like quite a few sections. So which one of them
Yeah.
are you like? Oh yeah, I'm probably most proud of that one. That one like is most like
That's a
represents
good
me the most.
question.
I think.
I mean, I would say compared to the shock one, all the other ones are much more intentional. But they've
Right.
all came with like some kind of boundary of not being able to like film as long as I wanted or something.
For
Um,
for what reason?
well, like the first, let's see, what do we talk about? Citizens went well, but even Citizens, it was like Jeremy kind of stopped skating for a long time. And then like that video came out like a year, or maybe even 2 years after we filmed everything. So like, I mean, that one's probably felt pretty complete at the time, at least. Um, bars, I don't know.
I like that sec.
I don't know.
Is that your way of going? I wasn't really into that because I liked it. I thought it was
No,
good.
bars is good. Um, I was trying that one started initially. I was like, what was my idea? I remember like I wanted it to be like heavily influenced by Gumby because at that time I would be like, he would go do a stunt and it would make me want to go do a stunt. So I think there's a lot of like bigger tricks in that.
Yeah.
Um, that one's good. Uh,
You don't sound convinced. You don't sound convinced at all, but right, okay. Or Had It Wet,
which channel?
or like Valo 6, you had a ton of stuff in Valo 6 as well.
Yeah, Vol 6 was good. That was mostly traveling. So yeah, even though Yvonne lives here, he never wanted to film here. He only wanted to film when we were on trips. But that one's good. It's really long.
It's
We do
kind
a
of a
lot of
weird video.
UFOs.
Yeah, when I was watching that, I was like, this doesn't feel like a Valo video, like a Valo team video at all. It just feels like an Ivan video that features some of the Valo team, like because obviously
That's what it was.
he had a section in it like that was amazing, and like just yeah, it didn't feel like kind of the other Valo videos that he made. It felt like it was more of a personal project than
Yeah, I
something.
mean, he definitely put it. It was like he was doing it himself, and like Vala was kind of fizzling out too at that point
Yeah,
a bit. And yeah, he was doing what he wanted to do a lot more, and that was just the avenue to do it, I guess.
right. It is so when you kind of like forget how good he is, and then you see footage and you're just like, wow, you're just doing 360 souls down terrifying, huge, high, steep stair ledges. but everyone thinks of you as like Ivan, the filmer, and you're like, you're actually psycho on skates. Oh, has it paused? I think it has.
No.
Oh, video's paused. Oh no, there we go. We're good.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm like, or I'm sure it's in Valo 6 where he does like a massive fast leg down a rail as well. And I'm like, that is scary stuff. Yeah, yeah. He
He's got
is,
a few of those.
yeah, he is very, very good. So right, you're going to there's something I've always wondered. You just for a period randomly, oh, you still hear me? Yeah. You just randomly
Okay.
started appearing in all this European stuff for a while. You appeared in like a LaRue video. You appeared in like an FTS thing with like Pat Ritter and Marius Gale. You started appearing in
Yeah.
like T8 stuff and like Mark Moreno edits. What was going on? Were you just over here traveling or what was the story there?
Um, well, we, me and my wife, we had our child, and like she's from Paris, and
Okay.
we kind of like we were kind of stressed out and didn't really know what to do. So we moved to live with her family in Paris, or like right outside of Paris.
Right.
Yeah.
For how long?
Well, when I left, it was an undetermined amount of time. Like I pretty much left. Like I might come back, I might not. Um, but we ended up staying for a year.
Okay.
And like we had saved up money so that we could kind of at least take our time figuring out what we wanted to do. And in that year, I was in Paris, so it's easy to travel around here and there.
That's pretty wild though. Just like I mean, I know what it's like to have like a new child and be like, holy crap, we need as much support as we can get. And then if her entire family lives over there, that obviously makes it difficult because there's only your side of the family and
Yeah,
if they live close by or not. But that must have been pretty wild. Like, had you ever been to Europe before then?
yeah, I visited her family there before.
Right.
I guess that was it actually. Other than other than when I was a kid, like we went just for like a week. Um, we we went on a trip there because I have like
Okay.
some of my dad's cousins live around Europe.
So what was it like just suddenly I live in France now. That must have been quite, was it a culture shock? Like what was that like from your perspective? Because she's just going home.
A bit. I mean, I traveled a bit before then. So, and like I'd been there before, so I kind of knew what it was like. But it was kind of like, I don't know, initially kind of boring actually. Because
What's the
I
whole
was like, because we had a newborn and we were kind of living a little bit outside of Paris, and I didn't really know anyone. And I also like, I mean, I learned a bit of French there, but her family all spoke French exclusively.
as in right, so they couldn't speak English.
Yeah,
That must have
I was,
felt
I was kind of bored,
yeah, that must have felt pretty, yeah, isolating.
but I also had like a newborn too, which was a lot. Um, but I did know some people, like a month, a month in, I guess. I went down to Barcelona and met Pat
Okay.
and like Dominic and Sandra there and Marius, which was very fun. Even though it was
Right.
just like 4 days, but it was
Yeah.
close.
Um, and your
So I knew
partner,
Pat, or I already knew Pat because we went on a trip before. Like the stuff that's in Volo 6, I guess. We went on a trip then, like kind of around the northwest of the US.
right? So you've got a baby, well, a relatively new baby in your part.
Yeah.
Was she cool with the fact that you're like, so I'm going to go and skate with the boys in Barcelona? You
Yeah,
okay
she was
to?
cool with it. I mean, it was only all the trips were like relatively short. like I think the longest one was we went to Winter Clash, and then I went to Barcelona after, and that was maybe 2 weeks. I think that was the longest I was away for.
You got 2 weeks of non-parenting. That is I don't know how you pulled off that magic trick, but yeah, I would like tips. I don't think I've ever successfully managed that. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. We were in a good place that she. Well, I mean, it's happened a few times since then too. You have a child?
I do. I've got a daughter. She's 8 now.
Oh wow.
If in the first 2 years I was like, "Hey, I'm going away for a couple of weeks," she'd be like, "No, the fuck, you're not."
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Although
know how.
it's different for everyone.
Anyway,
Our daughter didn't sleep through the night for the first 2 years, so it was a very strenuous time. So I can imagine it's
yeah,
different for everyone. Plus, if you've got family around, she's got help. So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, it definitely
They
changes.
helped a little bit. They mostly
Um,
provided us a place to live,
yeah, yeah.
but
Um,
yeah, I don't know. She was a strong mom, I guess.
so
Or yeah,
you're living in France for a year. I'm assuming you couldn't work because did you have a work visa? So like,
it took a
sh
while to get to that point,
right.
but I could have started working. I never found anything that was felt worth the time. And the same with her, because that was kind of the intention was like she was gonna start working right away. We didn't think it out that well, but
Right.
because wages are I don't know they're just pretty low if you like making minimum wage there.
Hmm.
And it was like you want to be gone all week and bring back like such a small amount of money. It's like let's just be frugal and stay home.
Sure. But did that not lead to being bored out of your absolute mind?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's like highs and lows there.
So would I mean,
Like
obviously apart
skating was
from
very fun,
right.
and then like I made some good friends in Paris, like Stan and Umberto. Um, and yeah, great skate trips.
I was about to say out of all the trips you did during that period, what were some of the highlights? Like there must have been because when you're
Copenhagen was great.
right.
I think it was like Blade Days was happening,
Yeah.
and I went and I was there for like 4 or 5 days, but it was just really fun the whole time. Stay with Dominic and yeah, skating and partying and stuff was just very fun. Copenhagen. I'd been there when I was a kid, but it was very fun to be there. Everyone was just so like happy. I guess because it's summertime, so like
Yeah.
it was really fun going out and just hanging out with everyone.
Everyone always raves about it. Like I've never been, so I was meaning to go to the CPH see
Yeah, that
the
looked so
Zero
fun.
thing this year. I'm going to hopefully make it next year. But just like two guys from Scotland, Quinny and Dom Bruce, have obviously moved there
Yeah,
and went, we're not coming back. Sizemore's living there as well. And it just seems like this place that
yeah,
kind of captivates people.
yeah, yeah. I don't. The vibe is. I mean, I know I was there during summer, so people are pretty happy that the weather's nice, but it just felt like people are trying to really enjoy themselves and like they're very friendly and yeah, it was fun.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
I don't
Um,
know how to go further into it than that.
I think that's basically your way of saying
Pleasant.
you don't want to tell me any incriminating stories.
There's no incriminating stories there.
Right. Okay. So how did the like because you were in I'm assuming the most recent one was when you guys went to Japan for the T8 video, right?
Yeah, that was like a year ago, I guess, or like a year and a half ago,
Right.
last April. But I went to Barcelona too. Me and Alex went for like a week in November. Uh, yeah, Japan was great.
So
We skated hard.
how did that all come about? Whose idea was it to like because that's quite
Tony.
right, okay.
Yeah, yeah, Tony. Tony been talking about it for a while, and it just finally happened.
Did you guys manage? Did you guys hit up the boss man and you were like, "Oh, John, so if you can get us out there, we'll like obviously."
Japan was everyone's own thing.
Oh, right, okay. Because I was
Tony
wondering.
helped. I think Tony helped a little bit. Like he helped kind of make the B&Bs be cheaper and like bought a few meals for everyone, but everyone was just kind of out there on their own thing.
All right, I was
It
wondering
wasn't
how.
even like the idea of it being a them Tate thing wasn't there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um. So what was it like skating out there? Because I feel like was it any different to like skating in the US or skating in Europe? Like, was it stricter or was there like more
Very
kickouts or?
strict. Well, it's kind of hard to gauge because we kind of had someone showing us around at all times, and they were always really hesitant to let us just skate anything. Like we kept going, like you always see people skating kind of like by water like waterways and stuff. That's for a reason. Like they kind of want to skate outside the city. So I guess cops are very strict about it.
Right.
So that was that was a little bit of a bummer because there was so much cool like Tokyo. There's spots on every block, but we didn't skate a lot of them.
So, like, did the locals say why? Like, did they say like, "Oh no, we'll get arrested or we will get fined," like something
Yeah,
like that?
it's like a combination of like respect and uh getting in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
like they seem to care. Like here we in San Francisco, we don't really care. I'm trying not to like really mess up anyone's house, but like I don't know.
I was gonna
Sometimes
say,
the line of public and private property is blurred out here.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, on the one extreme, you're literally skating someone's like front door, like using it as a run up to like a rail or a ledge or a gap or whatever, and then you go out to Japan and they're like, yeah, we don't want to like annoy people or like offend anyone, so just don't touch that. And you're like, right, okay. And you just it must be kind of weird to get into that mindset of like, oh, I was just gonna just do what I want, but okay, right.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was different. There was one situation. I think Itchy cares a bit less because he like we were skating kind of like a uh like what do you call it like financial kind of area like a bunch of big buildings and security, and he was like trying to trick, and he ended up running from the cops. Like him and Leon both like because the security kicked him out. I don't know if it was, I guess it was a cop. Like they kicked him out like two times, and then the third time they like just started like when he came they just started skating away, and then the guy started chasing them, and they got away.
Right. Huh.
Yeah, that was a little confusing because every other time everyone's like, don't do this here.
Maybe, yeah, maybe he's just got yeah different rules for himself. Also, it's got to be when there's the language barrier, and you're like, I don't know, if a security guard or a police officer is talking to you, and you're like, I can't actually tell if we're getting into a lot of trouble here or whether he's letting us away with it. Like, what's
Exactly.
you're like, should I start running? Like,
Yeah.
am I gonna get arrested?
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. We all just kind of watched. I know even like Tony was like down the street and he said they all ran. Like he was filming too, and he started skating away too, and he's like, I'm not going anywhere, and he just stopped and he said the cops ran by him and chased them. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. It's an trick. When I've been in Spain before and like police have stopped us, I'll like understand enough Spanish to be like, and the guy will mention like money, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna get fined, right? We need to get out of here. We'll be like, right, right,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, yeah, bye.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
Barcelona's like that. Like I guess because here, like San Francisco is so relaxed. Like, especially now, like cops don't care about skating at all. And like even security guards, it's like, how bad do you want this trick? Because basically, like they can't actually do anything,
mhm.
so you can kind of just ignore them. And half the time, they'll see that you don't care, and they'll just go back inside. And then if the cops do eventually come, they'll just be like, All right, you guys had your chance. Let's go.
Yeah, it's basically the same in the UK. Like someone's like, oh, I'm gonna phone the police, and you're like, they're not gonna come. Like they're
Yeah.
not like why would what are you gonna say to oh, there's these grown men on rollerblades,
Yeah.
and the police will be like, so like
Yeah.
you've not mentioned a crime yet. Well, they're scuffing up stuff, and they're like, I can't even remember the last time, yeah, I interacted with a police officer, but they are normally like, what are you guys doing? Like, just can you
Yeah.
just go? And you're like, all right, yeah, cool, sorry.
Yeah. Like, all right, you had your like, it took us a while to get here. You didn't land it yet. That's your bad.
Yeah.
But it's time to go.
I've wondered
And
about
leave
this.
fast because they might get mad that you damaged something.
Yeah, yeah, true. I've wondered about this because obviously there's quite a lot of like focus on San Francisco in recent years because like obviously like the drug thing and like the homelessness thing, and then there's like people making these like pop news pieces about areas like the Tenderloin and stuff like that with what's it called? Is it called bipping or something like that? What's
Fentanyl?
what what is it?
Fentanyl?
Not like the like all like the car like car
Oh,
break-ins
pipping?
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. How much of that is like an issue throughout the city, or is it just like concentrated to like certain small areas? Like, is it
I mean,
something?
it got like throughout the pandemic, it got like it got way worse. Cause like the Tenderloin, I can like see it from my window. It's like we live kind of in the whole area that's like you probably see a lot on the news. But like down in that area, it's always been kind of bad, but it was getting cleaned up pretty good before the pandemic.
Right.
And like people were taking advantage of all the spaces there. There was like a bunch of art galleries and um like cafes and restaurants and stuff, and like a lot of them closed. And that area is like it's concentrated there. Like the drug problems are all concentrated there, and like probably all the scenes you see of people like living in tents or like
Mhm.
smoking fentanyl on the street and stuff. It's there,
Right.
but
So
like
I just wondered how much of that was like
it's
media scare tactics and how much of it was like, no, that's what's happening. Like that's what we run into.
I would say they're blowing it out of proportion. Yeah, like it's not like there's so much more of San Francisco than what they always show.
Yeah. I did wonder
Like
because
that
then
area's always been bad.
right,
Unfortunately,
okay.
there's like a lot of they're called like SROs there that are they're like really protected and they can't like those are like they're like single room occupancy places that are really cheap to live in. And then there's also a bunch of like shelters down there and like I don't know. It has a long history of being the way it is.
All right.
And right like it's at a high point right now of being bad, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. Because where was it? Where was it? Pat Lennon used to live, and he used to talk about being quite rough. Was it something Heights or Hyatt or I can't remember.
He's kind of like Bernal Heights.
Okay,
Um, the mission is like what would be he's kind of like in the more like the mission and then he's kind of towards Bernal Heights. The mission was a little rougher in the past, but not for a while, long time.
right. Okay.
The mission's great now.
Um. Oh, totally forgot. Going back to like the Tokyo thing. So you were skating with Soichiro, and you were skating with Park. Oh God. Oh, his name's just totally escaped me now. South Korean
Junkyu?
Junkyu Park. Um,
Okay, yeah.
like both those guys don't speak English though, right?
Itchy's pretty good.
Really? Because I
I mean, he's
interviewed.
over the years, like he lived here for like 2 years, I think, maybe around 2010, and I couldn't talk to him at all.
Yeah,
But now it's it's pretty. His English is pretty good.
I remember when I interviewed him. I'm sure it was like uh, actually it would have been like 5 or 6 years ago now. But yeah, it was like
Yeah,
he. You could tell he found it hard. Like he was
yeah. Well, I'm
every.
sure. Well, yeah. I mean, it's hard to get deep in a conversation
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
And I've never spoken to Jung Kyu Park, so I've never met him, so I don't actually know if he can speak English or it's any good.
We were talking. I think he's been working on it a lot.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess I've always had a lot of friends, or like I feel like I'm kind of used to that, being around that a bit,
Okay.
and like knowing like this, like it's just like a bit of a slower communication, or like it's hard, like conversation, like group settings are hard because like Itchy and JK, it's like they can't keep up with what everyone's saying and like thinking of things to say, so they'll like kind of zone out.
That's what I mean. Like you just, I think I would feel like guilty that they're just, I'm like, oh, you guys are like part of the group, but you're kind of missing like all the banter or like the jokes or anything. And you, I don't know, I think I would just feel like, yeah, bad that they were like missing out on the experience. Somehow they're just kind of sitting there and it's just kind of passing them by. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty international crew. Um, I don't know. The JK is amazing,
He, yes,
incredible, great person and incredible skater.
he has been good for a long time. Yeah, even like not long after I lived there in 2003 or four, and not long after then, even then, people were like talking about him. Like I knew a bunch of guys around Seoul, and they were like, "Yeah, he is." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
he skated like so hard everywhere we went. I never like saw him warm up or anything.
Mike Torres once
I don't know how
described him
he's
as
older
like,
than me too.
yeah,
I think he's 36
he's in like
maybe.
his mid to late 30s. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, after he filmed the Brain Dead thing, I asked Mike Torres how it went, and he was like, he is like the perfect example of highly skilled and just crazy enough to like push his limits as far as they'll go. He's like the perfect combination of that. And I was like, that's a very good description. Because yeah,
yeah,
even in the them video where is it in San Francisco where he does the hill bomb fakie? Was
yeah. That was
that
crazy. Yeah,
like nope? And then the car
yeah,
comes and he is like just too casual about the fact that a car is heading towards him as he's, yeah, no, I would have panicked like hell.
yeah. He does the big like air, right? The zero
Does like a zero over like the street bump and then
air.
he's just
Yeah,
cruising down. A car
yeah. That
pulls
was
out.
big.
He's like,
Yeah,
that's fine. I'll just swerve around it going
yeah,
backwards.
yeah.
So
Mm.
since the T83 video, have you been working on anything else? Because I don't think, have you had anything else out since then?
No. Uh, wait. There was like a little short thing on the them page the other day that me and Danny filmed quick.
Mm,
Um,
don't know if I've seen that.
it's like a minute.
Right. Okay.
John made some wheels, so I was skating the new wheels.
Right. How are they?
Yeah, they're good.
I
He got
mean,
a new manufacturer, and they're really good.
if they can survive San Francisco, they've got to be all right.
Yeah, yeah, they're good wheels. And then like when Sabo was here, he filmed. He's got this thing of me that I think he'll put out soon.
Okay. As
But
in just
yeah, there's
featuring
nothing.
footage or like a whole part.
A whole part.
Oh, no way. Right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Um,
nice. My son's in it a little bit.
how old's he now? If you guys had him before you came to Europe?
He turned 6 in October.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
Um, see when I was mean that see when Danny Malm had his like he had like a like mini film one day like film festival thing, didn't he?
yeah,
Has he actually released any of those videos? What was
yeah, yeah.
shown?
He just made the one. There's like one of Cameron
Yeah.
and Cesar. That
Is
was
there
his.
more stuff to come out?
Well, that played there, and then the thing that Seba has of me played, and Yvonne played that David thing. Um, what else? Corey Waikiki, Sneaky.
Uh-huh.
He had a part that's out that played that night that's out since then.
Oh, the Red Eye Wheels one. I think that was it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Probably.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
So
Sounds right.
The SEPA video is finished. He's just
Kind
decided.
of. It was like edited. We asked him about it like 2 weeks before, like, hey, do you think you can make this by then? So he did it quick, and then I know he it could use a little more work.
Right,
We were
okay.
just talking about it like yesterday, actually, and I think we'll finally get it out there within the next few weeks.
So as in just like tidied up or what?
Yeah, and then me like nitpicking at my own skating.
As is always the case. I think it must be
Yeah,
sometimes easier when like someone edits your footage and like takes that control out of your hands. Because I feel like if left to your own devices, you can drive yourself insane going,
oh
don't know
yeah,
about
for
this,
sure.
don't know about this. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I usually haven't had much of a say in most things. Yeah,
Is that a
I've
good thing
admitted
or a
them.
bad thing though? Like as in like does it come out and you're like, oh, I really wish you didn't use that song, or I really don't like how that was like I really wish that wasn't the end, or like does
Yeah, I
it
mean, maybe I'd be a little more excited about some of them if I had more of a say.
okay.
Yeah.
I get the impression that you're not overly impressed with like any section you put out. I feel like it would take quite a lot for you to be like juiced on it.
Yeah. I don't know what it takes. Maybe it'll happen soon. It always like the hit it wet, the first one, like I moved to France and then like those guys kept filming for like a whole nother year. So that got cut short.
But just because it's short doesn't mean it's not. I mean, it does mean you don't
Yeah.
get everything you want to get, but just because it's shorter doesn't mean it's not as good.
Yeah. I don't know. Just too judgmental on myself.
Right.
I
Okay.
like them though, but it'd be cool to do something where I really felt like to the end, I'm like excited, like it felt done.
So you don't feel like you've ever like fully like finished a section to like the extent that you want to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Maybe it'll happen.
Maybe you keep
Maybe
saying that. You
maybe it's
keep
not something that can happen.
all right. I thought you were saying that as in it's in the pipeline or it's
I
forthcoming.
don't know.
Um,
It-
because Danny seems to be quite hyped on filming right now, and considering I didn't even know he did film and edit the job that he did on Cameron and Cesar's thing for Blank was I was like whoa, like because
yeah,
filming editing it was weird, it was different. I really
his
liked
sequence
it.
wasn't looked insane. Yeah, he's been learning fast, and he's got good resources to help too. Like he did most of that himself, but he's got like me and Taylor Coburn and like Yvonne too to like call on if he's got issues.
About to say there's so many people in just your crew and the local area that have like a lot of knowledge. So even yeah, you can
Yeah,
basically go to anyone and be like, I don't understand what I'm doing with this. And they'll be like, oh, like, here you go. That's,
yeah. But he's
yeah.
got he's got high standards and he cares. Danny cares a lot. So
What was it? Someone, was it Alex? I think it was Alex Sams I spoke to, and he described Danny as like the most like professional skater he'd ever met. When I think they've been on a couple of trips together, and he was just like, Danny's like, we're here for a reason. Like we're getting stuff done.
yeah,
And he's
Danny's
like,
serious. He's serious.
yeah,
I think he chilled out a little bit now. He had a little run there where he was like it was like almost too much, but he's found a good place.
there was yeah,
It,
was it last year or the year before? There was one year where he pumped out like three full street parts in a year, and I was like, how are you managing this?
yeah, he skates a lot. he was like going on a lot of trips that year. Yeah. I don't know. He's about it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Likes it.
He is one of my favorite skaters from America at the moment, actually, for the past like at least couple of years. Um, what was right? Another, I totally forgot about this. The How did you end up in Thailand with Worapoj Boonnim, and what was the story there? How did that come about?
Um, yeah. So Caesar, who was in that last edit with Cameron, he grew up in Thailand.
Okay,
He grew up with Worapoj,
small
and
world.
yeah, like they're on the Thai. They're on like a Thai international team,
Is
or I
this
guess not international, national
is
team.
this the one that like Michael Palek coached for a small time?
Yeah, yeah. And
Right.
they came out here on like a training trip at Woodward, and he decided to stay.
And he stayed there ever since.
He's yeah, yeah. That was in like 2008. And yeah, he I met him when I moved to SF, and he's always been a close friend. And like I felt like I already kind of knew Warpage because of him, because like he would talk about him all the time.
Right.
And then like Warpage came here for like a Blade Cup, and then he came and visited SF. So I like met him and hung out with him. And I also had another friend who was neighbors with Caesar, who doesn't skate, but was just a good friend that was Thai, that he came out here for school, and then he just like stayed another year, but we would hang out a lot. And I wanted to go on a trip, and tickets to Thailand were cheap. And I kind of, I mean, yeah, the trip was really random. I was like, I had like an urge to travel, and I had a little bit of money saved up. And like, I woke up one morning thinking that was a good idea and looked at flights, and was like, I should just do this, like feeling very impulsive. And I initially thought it would be like a solo trip, and like, oh, it'd be great if I see those guys when I'm out there. So I like contacted both of them and told them that I'm thinking about coming. And then I got tickets. And like as it progressed, as it got closer, like me and Note were talking a lot, and kind of got the idea like, oh, like we can definitely hang out a lot, and like we should skate and maybe film some stuff. And I bought a camera like 2 days before I went there, with the idea like that I would use it. Like actually be pretty happy that I had it. And they ended up both picking me up from the airport when I got there. Like they didn't even know each other, those two guys, but like I told them that I was coming and that I had talked to this other person, and then they contacted each other and like came together to pick me up from the airport, and then I hung out with them for like a month and a half there.
See, from the video, I thought you were there for quite a while because yeah, there's a fair amount of footage.
Yeah, it was an amazing trip. Yeah, the way it worked out was too perfect. Like I stayed with them, stayed like Note lives like pretty much in Bangkok, and then the other guy Kem lives like an hour and a half away. But his family does pretty well. They got a lot of places that we could stay at, and he had a car, so he like kind of drove us around Thailand a bit.
Was this
And we like
Warapod or the other guy?
the other guy Kem,
Right, okay.
yeah. But yeah, we all traveled around, and he was like super down to just hang out with us while we were skating.
And what was the deal with all the footage of the elephants? Did you guys go to like a sanctuary or something?
Yeah, yeah. What's that? I forget what that area is called, in like the north of Thailand. But yeah, we went to elephant. There's a shot of an elephant getting like a enema, or I don't know if it's an enema, but
There's a lot of footage
I think
of
it was a woman with
elephants.
arm deep in the elephant. I guess his teeth were pretty dull, and he couldn't chew up his food as well, so they had to help him out.
You didn't volunteer to lend a hand?
No,
No, no.
no. Yeah, that was Yeah, we did a lot. We like went to Laos for a few days. Um, we traveled around a lot. Me and Note went down to yeah, I'm forgetting the names of places, but like not Phuket, but like on the other like the the east side of the peninsula. I forget the island, but we traveled around a lot. Yeah,
Right.
it was amazing, and we skated like hard too. And that was always
Yeah.
just like me and Note skating.
Yeah. There's some serious tricks in there. Also, there's some clips where it looks like you guys are skating inside buildings while they're doing business. There's one, I think you do like a soul grind on a drop rail, and there's like a reception at the bottom of the stairs, and people are standing at it, and I'm like, where the hell is that? Like, what,
Yeah,
it's either you or Worapoj. Like, what was going on there?
I think that. I mean, I remember one where like he fish brained this ledge, and then there's like this girl studying at this table right at the bottom. That was in
Right.
this university.
That might be it. I was like, that is bold to go in there while people are just like walking about, and you're like, no, I'm just going to session this spot.
Yeah, yeah. There's a few like government buildings and stuff that we skated that people were getting kind of mad at us about, and I don't know, would kind of talk to them and tell them. I don't know what he would always tell them, but it would seem to get them to go away or like stop caring for a little bit longer.
Right.
Yeah, we skated. There's a lot of cool stuff. I did this gap into like a velodrome.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
if you can tell from the clip, but it's definitely the most terrifying thing I've ever done.
Yeah, because you cut between, there's like a row of
Yeah.
chairs, and you cut between the row of chairs and then gap over. And
Yeah,
I'm
it was
like,
like 3 feet between the chairs and you have to go really fast.
yeah, I'm like, you could easily clip that chair and then just smash off the
Yeah.
railing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you have
that,
no idea where you're jumping until you jump.
yeah.
It was scary.
And
No one wanted to do it. And then I was like, he was scared to jump and I was like, I could totally see you doing it. And then I like just charged at it and then jumped it randomly and landed on the pole I jumped over, but like in. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing it. It was terrifying.
yes, it looked it. That did not. I don't think many people would look at that and go, yeah, that looks like fun. I'm going to try
Yeah.
that.
I mean, even though I didn't really know what I was doing editing that. That's one that I feel pretty good about.
I mean, it just kind of seems like it seems like a like travel log, but
Yeah,
a very enjoyable, entertaining one to watch that does, yeah, like you say, have some really, really good skating in it. It's not like a typical like skate video, but it's still, yeah, it's still very, I'm definitely going to put a link to that in the description because I did really enjoy watching it. And it's got just some very random non-skating footage in it as well, which is pretty funny.
yeah.
Um,
There were some wild nights out there. Just I don't know. Thailand's a wild place.
is Noah a partier? He doesn't strike me as someone who like drinks
Well, this was
heavily.
like, I mean, this is a while ago now, 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay.
But I would say he likes to have a good time, whether that's partying or not partying. If there's a party happening, he'll get involved, but he's not really like. I mean, he's extremely healthy,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
but he's not afraid of a good time. I don't know.
That's a very diplomatic response. Okay.
And we were all trying. I mean, they wanted to show me everything, and I would say I pretty mellow these days, but I definitely like to party a bit, and our other friend did too.
All right. All right. Take from
So
that. Take from that what we will.
I don't know, nothing too crazy, but just yeah, there's fun.
That leaves it open to my imagination, which yeah. Um right, couple more and I'll let you go. As someone that's got a very like even as you admit like a very kind of like random approach to skating and like always kind of think, well, when you started like thinking about it from like an outsider's perspective or how like other people see it, who's skating do you look at the moment and you're like, oh, I'm really into what they're doing, or like I'm really impressed by that, or like people's sections in recent years that you're like, oh, I found that inspiring. That like, that makes me want to get out there. Is there anyone like currently going that you're like, oh yeah, I'm really into their stuff? Because you mentioned Jungkook, but there's got to be
Yeah,
others.
yeah. Um, there's a lot. Skating is really cool right now. People are doing it's the diversity is incredible. And also just like people are so good. People are really
Yes.
owning their skills, their style these days. Um, Pretty much everyone I skate with, I guess. I can't think of like specific sections.
All right. In that case, I'll make it
Seba is
easy.
amazing.
Right. Okay.
I enjoy watching him. I don't know.
Right. Oh,
Pretty much everyone involved with them. I'm pretty excited about Danny Beer and Stewart, everything they do. Uh, my friends Danny and Cameron.
I feel like I don't feel like you get to just name friends. I feel like that's a cop out, but all right, I mean they are both very,
Well,
very good.
they're the people. Uh, uh, I don't know.
All right, is there okay, here's I'll make it easy. Is there anyone you don't know or you haven't met yet that you're like, whoa, they're really impressive. I would like to skate with them.
Um, Probably, but I don't know their names. I like the some of the, I watched some younger guys skate that I think live in Chicago, but I don't know what their names are.
Are you talking like about the null set guys?
Yeah,
Right. I thought that
yeah,
they keep coming up. People keep mentioning them, and I'm like,
yeah.
yeah,
They're super fun
I get it.
skate.
Yeah, yeah. Um, for people that don't know, Null Set's an Instagram account, and they've got yeah, very random skating in it, and they seem to really like skating at night, particularly. Which yeah. Um, all right, okay, right. Last question. What's the deal with them? Are you like actually on them, or is John just giving you skates once in a while? Like what's because you seem to be appearing in a bunch of their videos, which suggests that you're not just like a friend of the brand. It seems like does John pay for you to go on trips? How does it work?
Sometimes I don't know. I don't really know exactly what it would mean, but he's John's hooked me up for the longest time, like with Vala forever and with them from the beginning. But I pretty much if I make content, he'll give me some money, gives product plenty of products. Um, I don't know, I'm going to New York. I don't know. I don't know what it would mean to be exactly on them that
I
I don't
mean,
have, but
that seems like more of a sponsorship than what most people have. Like if you're getting paid for stuff like I don't know, creating content or like getting help with travel, that's more than a lot of most brands these days just kind of tend to give out free product and that's about as far as it goes. Like
yeah,
if you're getting help with getting to places to actually do these projects, then I would say that's pretty legitimate sponsorship.
yeah. I mean, he helps. He definitely helps when he can. Yeah, he, yeah. I don't know. It's it's good.
All right. Have you ever
It's
been
cool.
you don't you do you write for anyone else?
Uh,
Does anyone else
no,
like hook you up with stuff?
I mean Tony, but there's not really that whole lot going on there.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony does a lot too. I mean, just with like the last trips, like Barcelona was like him and John getting me and Alex out there.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Have you ever been
They,
approached by other brands to like skate for them?
uh, No.
That no, you paused for far too long there, which suggests the answer is yes.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, but I can't think of, I don't know, trigger.
Trigger skates.
I'm just joking.
I
Um,
mean, if you did, that would you would been able to
I lived
add to
in
the
Paris
list.
for a little while.
Oh yeah, okay.
I
The
skated
trick.
with, I think his name's Xavier or
Yeah,
Xavier.
yeah. Javier. Oh, can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excuse my accent.
I mean, they've got the most unfortunate record when it comes to sponsorship known to man. Literally every single person they've given a pro skate to has quit.
Yeah. Jeff Downes, did he quit?
Yep, he quit after Bitter Cold. He broke his skate during the I think it was like the pro final or the semi final and launched it across the room.
Oh,
And then then straight onto the email to Matthias, can you send me a pair of carbon frees? And back he was skating USTs. Yeah.
nice.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. Just John Julio, Yvonne Nares, and Tony.
right.
Skateboard guys. They've all helped me out a lot over the years.
I mean, them's pretty much one of the most exciting things happening in skating right now and one of the fastest growing. So if you're going to be a part of anything, it might as well be that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Or I'm happy to be where I'm at.
Um, right. I've taken up enough of your time today. It's obviously the middle of
Yeah,
the afternoon there, so I'll let you get on with your Wednesday. And yeah, thanks for taking the time to do it.
for sure. It's nice to meet you.
Well, if we both go to Copenhagen for the next CPH role, then we could actually bump into each other in real life. So there you go.
Yeah, I want to try to go.
Right, man. I'll let you get on with the rest of your day.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Goodbye.